Good evening and welcome to CoreTV News at 7. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. The All Progressives Congress has raised alarm over what it describes as the relentless scheming by the Jonathan administration and the PDP to push for another postponement of the 2015 general elections unless they can perfect a rigging plan, and called for the imposition of global sanctions on whoever scuttles the polls. In a statement issued in Dubai on Sunday by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party said the multi-pronged effort to prevent the elections from holding as rescheduled include the use of some 23 portfolio political parties to seek a further shift in the election dates and the destabilization of INEC's election plan through the orchestrated removal of its chairman, Atahiru Jega. It said the same 23 satellite parties of the PDP that were used to push for the 6 weeks postponement of the elections have again started testing the waters by pushing for a further shift in the elections in the 6 states of the Northeast, ostensibly to allow the conclusion of the counterinsurgency battle and also allow those displaced to return home. The party said while the 23 parties are pushing for the elections to be further postponed, the Jonathan administration and the PDP are simultaneously forging ahead with their plan to remove Jega and replace him with a malleable acting chairman whom they believe will do their bidding. APC wants that the consequences of another postponement of the elections would be dire indeed, especially because it will create a constitutional crisis that is capable of endangering the country's democracy and destabilizing the country in its entirety. The party called on Nigerians, especially the civil society, to be very vigilant in the days ahead as the cloud of uncertainty becomes thicker and the vultures begin to circle. The All Progressives Congress has assured Nigerians that it will not introduce any harsh tax regime if its presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari, wins the March 28th elections. It says it will rather use existing tax policies of government to fund its people-oriented programs. Spokesman for APC's presidential campaign team, Garba Shehu, said in a statement that under the Jonathan administration, the Nigerian people and the business community are already reeling under multiple discriminatory and harsh tax regime. He added that an APC administration will make life more bearable and manageable for both the citizens and the business sector by entrenching discipline in public administration across all sectors of governance. Shehu also noted that the party will plug all loopholes through which public funds are being lost and ensure there is reasonable funds for its social investment programs in education, health and safety nets, including free school meals. The People's Democratic Party says there is no plan to clamp down on opposition figures with private jets. It says the only plan it is working on is to humiliate the All Progressives Congress on March 28th. Spokesman for PDP's presidential campaign organization, Femi Fani-Kayode, said this in reaction to claims by APC of a crackdown on its leaders. He called on Nigerians to question leaders of the opposition on how they acquired their private jets. Fani-Kayode noted that it will be interesting to know from the APC how these leaders who either occupied public offices or still occupy public offices acquired jets. This, he says, is because of the moral high ground the opposition is always holding on national issues. Publishers of an Abuja-based newspaper, Nigerian Pilot, and its editor-in-chief, Dennis Sami, have paid an undisclosed sum of money as part of terms of settlement with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega, over libelous publications. This was after the INEC chairman sued the newspaper over a report which he claimed was an expose on alleged dirty deeds in the commission. Jega demanded a retraction and public apology as well as 700 million naira as general and aggravated damages. But when the matter came up before the Abuja High Court in December last last year, the parties informed the court that negotiations were on to resolve the matter. Now the parties have finally agreed to terms of settlement by which the newspaper and its editor-in-chief have published a retraction and apology in 3 national newspapers, the Nigerian Pilot, This Day and Daily Trust. Jaga's lawyer, A.B. Mahmood, has also confirmed that the defendants paid an undisclosed amount as part of the settlement. All Progressives Congress candidates for the Lagos West Senatorial District in the 2015 general elections, Olamileko Adiola, says the calls for the use of military to provide security for the 2015 general elections is unfortunate. Adiola, who spoke to journalists in Lagos after a meeting with the American Consul General Tom Hines, said the provision of security for the elections is a strictly police affair.
Thank you.
Wondering why the calls for the involvement of the military has become an issue. He added that the issue should be how to equip the police properly rather than taking their duties away from them.
There is any need for the military, whose responsibility is to protect, provide security for us during the electioneering process. It's no other person than the Nigerian police. Are we saying that the men of the Nigerian police has failed in the discharge of their duty if one of their primary assignment, they cannot carry this assignment out? So let them be better equipped, let them be better processed, because one of the main reasons why we have postponed this election from February 14 to March 28 is as a result of lack of security. And the only security we're referring to is the Nigerian military, who earlier assured Nigerians that they are prepared and ready for this election. But immediately after the Council of State meeting, they came out and said they need 6 weeks to fight insurgents in the northeast. And that is, and as such, they are not ready for this election. And the question is, we can't continue like this. And that is why we have stood our ground and we are saying the military has no role to play as far as election is concerned in this country.
For his part, the American Consul General Tom Hines says the United States is only interested in the elections because of its desire for the country's continued development. He added that he hopes for a free, fair and credible election to consolidate the nation's democracy.
Well, that's a really difficult question. I think you rightly pointed out that Nigeria is early in its democracy and it's developing, and like I just said, you know, the hope for free, transparent, and credible elections where people can go out and choose their leaders without the fear of violence is the most important thing. And I'm sure if that is achieved, that Nigeria's democracy will flourish. So I think that's about all I can say about that.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration has approved the commencement of work on the 700 billion naira Abuja City Center project. FCT Minister Bala Mohammed, who gave the approval, however, urged developers to ensure strict compliance with development regulations in addition to abiding by the timeline and financial plans. Mohammed also advised the developers to ensure due diligence tests to avoid incidents of contract collapse. He, however, disclosed that the FCT administration would enjoy 5% equity shareholding in the Abuja City Center Development Company Limited, which is to own and operate the project. The investors, for their part, said the project would be completed in 4 phases in conjunction with a Dubai-based developer, Eagle Hills. Lagos State's Governor Babatunde Fashola says catching up on the infrastructure deficit in the country will require that the larger interests of the masses be the primary consideration in the provision of social amenities. Fashola made this call while speaking to journalists after inspecting the Osborne Jetty, whose construction has been stalled due to a court case instituted by residents of Osborne Estate. He also inspected a reclaimed part in the area.
Real deep irony of the other issue that we discussed. You don't want a jetty because you claim that your area is a residential area, but residents have to move, don't they? Now, this is a green area by the freeway, and we, in our planning and urban development, this thing, it's a green area, and we decided to create an open park here, plant trees, so that residents, adjoining communities can come and children can play here, families. I mean, you see all these parks across the world, and you see, in fact, if you look just behind you there, you see a child playing on concrete tile. Look, just look. That boy is playing football right on the road. It shouldn't happen. You see, and you see a car coming. Now, if we had built this park, this is the place for football. And so this is a tragedy of the choices before us. But unfortunately, again, trying to create a green area, what do we have? People want to build here. And so we're just going to have to apply the law now and do what we need to do. Some claim that federal government gave them land. Federal government has no title to land. The Constitution does not give federal government land. Land is a residual matter in all the states. And that is why even if you look in the Land Use Act, you will see that all the states of the Federation, the governor is the trustee of the land for the people of that state, not the federal government.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It's the CoreTV News at 7. We take a short break and we return with more stories. Please stay with us.
Don't you wish your mommy was fine like mine? Yeah. Don't you wish your mommy was smart like mine? Yeah. Don't you? Don't you wish your mommy could laugh like mine?
And that's why every mom should take 3 Crowns milk with low cholesterol to help stay fit and healthy so she can take extra care of her family.
Don't you wish your wifey was hot like mine?
3 Crowns now comes in powder.
Many thanks for being there with us. For more news and other information, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. At Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then News. The Committee for Defense on Human Rights has pledged a no-light, no-pay protest to electricity providers in Lagos. The group made this disclosure in a meeting with the management of the Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company in Alausa after a protest march on the poor electricity supply in Lagos. The group says the continued exploitation of Nigerians by the successor companies to the PHCN must stop. Leader of the group in Lagos, Buna Isiak, says the privatization of the defunct PHCN has only worsened the power supply situation in Lagos and elsewhere.
The nomenclature kept changing with high hopes and promises of improvement, but reverse is the system and services as of present moment in the country, transforming from bad to worse, discharging poorest, erratic and epileptic services to the poor masses and the country as a whole. We therefore demand on behalf of the poor masses grossly affected by the wicked act of these companies as follows. We demand as follows: immediate reversal and removal of fixed charges. We demand accurate and correct billings of consumers' consumption. We demand commencement of equitable distribution of prepaid meters, which many Nigerians have registered and paid for.
For 4 days now, fuel scarcity has reared its ugly head in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, as most filling stations say they do not have the product for sale to the public. Opinions have, however, differ on what is behind the current scarcity. Our correspondent Rashid presents his findings on the issue in this report.
Residents of Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, have faced the harsh reality of fuel scarcity due to what many of them say they do not know. For their part, Officials of the Independent Petroleum Marketers said the scarcity is due to recurring problem of the comatose nature of the Ilorin depot of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation for lifting of petroleum products. State chairman of the association, Rashid Olopade, says the valuation of the naira is also another issue. He added that marketers now do what he called bridging to get products, leading to scarcity and increase in price of products.
The scarcity is conspicuous. Even if you are dead, blind, and dumb, everybody knows there is scarcity of petroleum products in Kwara. And it's not unconnected with the fact that Ilorin depot is not loading right now that I'm talking to you. Once we are not loading in Ilorin, that one has pronounced fuel scarcity. So that is the first thing. And what's led to that, first and foremost, is we heard from the NNPC officials there were line breakages between Mosimi and Ibadan. If Mosimi doesn't have fuel or Ibadan doesn't have fuel, definitely Ilorin depot will not have fuel. So it's not unconnected with vandalism along the line.
A visit to some filling stations who have the product in the city shows that it's only available for 100 naira, which is 13 naira above the official price. These motorists lament the hardship they are currently going through.
There's a problem for us. We didn't get the fuel. So maybe we get today, we will not get tomorrow. That is the problem. It's a problem for us. It's not good. They're supposed to sell it by 87. It's okay for us because that 100 naira is not good now. So if they reduce it, it's okay.
Olopade, however, says they buy from private depot at prices above the official price and that the loss of demand and supply has to take its course.
You see, the issue of price in oil industry is too political. Political in the sense that if you want product to be sold at certain rate or price, the only thing you do is to make it available in avalanche. Once the product is not available and you are talking of price, you are insincere. My point that I've been saying since the scarcity came in was make product available in your installations at NNPC depot. That depot belongs to every Nigerian. And every Nigerian can say, wow, what is the official rate? Wow, you pick product from NNPC. Why are you selling at this rate? But the product that people went borrowing to get it at private depot in Lagos to be brought at their own risk and determining or dictating the prices of those things, we are not sincere.
While the passing of the buck on what is actually behind the fuel scarcity continues, most Nigerians will only hope that what is fast becoming a nationwide scarcity will not linger more than necessary. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
As motorists in other parts of the country continue to lament what many describe as artificial scarcity of petroleum products and the rise in price against the official price, especially that of premium motor spirit known as petrol, queues have gradually returned to filling stations in Lagos. CoreTV News crew visited some of the filling stations in the city to fill the pause, with many motorists at loss on the sudden return of queues and what this means for their daily activities.
We never thought of it that it's supposed to be like this. It has happened at Lagos. At the same time, we perceive it when we are at Ibadan, a day before yesterday. But it's not something that we can bear anymore. It's also give a sign that this economy, that's why we are still a country that we are producing. We are among the people that having this crude oil. We are not supposed to be having maybe experience this kind of fuel scarcity in Nigeria.
I don't even like this situation of the scarcity of fuel. I don't like it because anytime they want to reduce the fuel price, they will make sure that there be scarcity of fuel. I don't know.
I just came to get fuel out of church and I ran into this. For me, I think it's really very stupid because there's really no reason for it. Yesterday, I was watching the television and I saw petrol scarcity in Abuja and I thought, what is all this about? But I just heard this in the station now that they want to reduce the pump price. Now, if you want to reduce pump price, does it not make economic sense for you to even sell than to hoard? I don't understand it.
Like this morning, okay, I'm traveling now, so I've been to 5 different filling stations before getting here. So, and So I was surprised to just met the whole place deserted. So except that's why I had to queue. So and we've been on this queue now for about 1 hour now before getting to this spot. So I believe government has the major role to play in this matter. So, and I believe if government can just wake up to our responsibility and do something about it.
The celebration of Valentine is meant to be an expression of love and affection. But it was a gary day for Abimbola Gideolu, who was set ablaze by his wife over the day's celebration. Bimbo now lies in critical condition at the General Hospital at Ekiti as the police vow justice against the suspect. Rashid filed in this report, but we must warn the viewers discretion is strongly advised.
The scenario surrounding the story of Abimbola Gideolu is that of love gone sour, and making it more peculiar is that the tragic incident happened on days supposedly used in celebrating love and loved ones. But to Bimbo Gideolu, the best way to celebrate him on the 14th of February is to set him ablaze by his wife, as confirmed by the Ekiti State Police Command.
We received a complaint of a woman who poured petrol on her husband and set him ablaze during the Valentine period. So the police swung into action. Our detectives went there, arrested the woman, and they rushed the husband to the hospital. I understand he has first-degree burns on his body. So the woman is still in our custody. We're trying to unravel the mystery behind our action. So the investigation is ongoing. And as soon as the investigation is completed, she will be charged to court.
To Folake Gideolu, the traumatized mother of Bimbo, reliving the gory incident and how that has changed the course of her life was not an easy narration when CoreTV News visited his hospital bed.
His wife poured petrol on him on Valentine's Day, accusing her husband for not allowing her to go out. She threatened setting Bimbo ablaze, but the threat was dismissed by him. Until she poured the petrol meant for their generator on him, and before the husband would dash out, she has already set him ablaze.
The survival of Bimbo, suffering from first-degree burns, still hang in the balance. The family, as they seek for justice, never close their eyes on help over the piling medical expenses of Bimbo, which they could not afford any longer. But to the police, justice, they say, will be dispensed accordingly.
We're going to charge her for attempted murder. The law is there. The long arm of the law always catch up with them.
I plead for help from the government so as not to lose Bimbo, because we've been financially exhausted and the hospital bill is piling up every day.
As Bimbo Gideolu lies critically ill and the estranged wife suspect goes at police cell, it is expected that the laws of the land will take its course, as Bimbo also faces the battle for his survival. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Sometimes you marvel at what people think at times. Rain has been identified as a thing of blessing, especially in this side of the world, where the greater population of the continent are engaged in land cultivation. While some are elated at the first droppings of rain in the city of Jos, others lament the hardship and other risks they will have to put up with now that the rains are here. In this special report, CoreTV News takes a look at the advent of the rains in the city of Jos, Plateau State.
The rain has been viewed among the black race as a sign of blessings, and it brings joy to every community at its inception every year. In the days before Western civilization, and even now in some communities in Nigeria and Africa, sacrifices and oracle visitations are made whenever the rain do not come on time. And as the rains come in other parts of the country, joy was the overwhelming emotion in Jos as the first rains of the year.
I see this is the first rain we're experiencing on the plateau. This rain will help us to reduce the hot weather. The rain also reduces the dust that we the hazy nature of the plateau during dry season like this. And there are a high number of water ponds where mosquitoes are breathed in. So I believe with this rain, it will wash away all those areas that are experiencing some small forms that we have water loss.
Some of the expected blessings enumerated by Jos City dwellers include reduction of mosquitoes, commencement of farming activities that involve tilling the ground, dust and heat reduction, and best of all, availability of water in the wells, because Jos City residents experience water scarcity during the dry season.
I'm so happy because the weather was very hot then. More when the assignment place, I was just sweating. So I'm so happy seeing this rain. The weather is very lovely now. I'm so happy.
I personally actually think that the rain is first of all a huge relief actually to us, the residents of Jos, owing to the fact that the weather for the past 2 or 3 weeks has really not been favorable. The temperature has really been high, and I think
first rain is a good thing to farmers in Plateau State. And as farmers, we encourage ourselves to take advantage of the first rain and clear the farm so that we can sink into action.
On the other hand, some residents who are engaged in activities that rains can affect negatively did not welcome the first rain of the year with much enthusiasm because they believe they stand to lose with the advance of the rain. Complaints made by them include, among others, drippings of rains through the roof into their houses. For those who are still building structures, they fear rains may lead to the collapse of their buildings.
In Jos today, it's a blessing you can see. To farmers, to us, because the weather has been hot in Jos. And with this rain, I want to believe that it will be cold. Though the first rain has, it's washing off everywhere, it's dirty. You can see the gutters are dirty, the roofs are dirty. It's cleansing off the dirt from the roof.
Is it actually supposed to be a sign of relief for most of us? But we that are into poultry business, the showers like this normally bring a lot of, especially now that the bird flu issue is, along the corner. And possibly the heat, assuming now, there's a possibility that a lot of issue will affect with the poultry farmers. Apart from that, there are even this more bricks are flaked and have not finished the building, and the possibility of the building collapse is what makes me not happy for the rain. Thank you.
For those who are into poultry farming, the fear that the prevalence of bird flu in the country may be worsened. Whichever way it may be viewed, rains are blessings to the African people due to our subsistence farming and agrarian way of life, while the people will need to make necessary adjustments for the season until the return of the drought.
And with that, it's a wrap on CoreTV News at 7. Join me again at 9:45 for the primetime news. Many thanks for watching. I am Lomo Adekunle.